And we're back. It's time for the alternate ending to Chapter 5. So, what would happen if we did not follow Naomi right away? Instead, we find a bathroom, finally. One that's actually usable. Actually, part of this bit is actually a reference to the original Corpse Party. Because in one such ending, Yuka dies in one of the bathrooms, actually, when it overflows with blood. If I recall.
That sounds like something from Silent Hill 3.
But yeah, like I mentioned before, even in Corpse Party PC-98, your party members could die. So even then, no one was safe.
Yuka! Yuka!
Okay, she's still okay.
Odds are we probably just heard Hanako.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's the reference right there. Yeah, and she would have drowned. Yeah, because we need to get moving. Well, currently chasing after Yoshikazu. Actually, speaking of which, you're probably wondering why did Seiko's mouth started bleeding in that one scene?
Yeah.
It's revealed in Tortured Souls that Yoshikazu, he ends up cutting off the victims' tongues. Yeah, you actually get to see him do that to Seiko's corpse in Tortured Souls. Yeah.
That will be fun to watch.
Don't worry, I'll be here if you decide to watch it with me.
Well, of course.
But actually, speaking of which, you're probably wondering whatever happened to Satoshi in Tortured Souls, since you didn't have an answer for that. Well, actually, after this scene, I will. Is there a boy she likes?
That's a little out of the blue.
Well, he has a reason for asking. Oh, there's a boy in her class she likes.
Why, that's something.
Scary.
What's your reasoning to this, Yuka?
Guess she's just scared to commit.
I get that.
Work up the courage, huh? That's what he needs the most help with. That's why he asked. Always getting violent and controlling as soon as she sees ya.
That's usually a good sign.
Like I said, her Sundari attitude gets deconstructed in this game.
Henri.
But then again, if he ever lost her, he might as well be dead.
Gee, I wonder what this alternate ending's hinting to.
Yeah, this is him having a love epiphany about Naomi. But even so, despite this, I want to bet that in the actual main story, he eventually does still have this. Perhaps. Then again, who can say?
Well, on the plus side, we got done with Yuka Bath Simulator 2602.
But in any case, now we are locked out of the main ending. Yeah.
Now, let's see how this will go.
Basically, it plays the same as it did before, but with obvious omissions in terms of Naomi. Anyway, as I was saying, in the course of Tortured Souls, Naomi loses her student ID completely. She's unable to find it. And thus, eventually, Yuki, by the way, in terms of the appeased spirits, they actually appear as if they were alive after they're appeased.
Just like Sachiko did.
Yes. Anyway, pretty much Yuki appears before Satoshi and Ayumi, since at that point Naomi went after Seiko. And she warns them that Naomi can't leave while she's stricken with the darkening, because the moment she saw Seiko's corpse being dragged away, she started to get corrupted by the darkening again. So thus, before they leave, Satoshi asks Yuki what would happen if one used a paper scrap from outside of their own group. You don't get to hear what happens as a result, but let's say Satoshi catches on to what happens earlier, because he noticed Naomi searching corpses while they're heading to the infirmary, and pretty much at the moment they appease Sachiko, let's just say he ends up struggling with Sachiko as she's trying to stab him with scissors. She does manage to stab him in the stomach and nearly stabs him in the eye. Fortunately, he finally gets through to her when he mentions that they know that both she and her mother were victims, and that literally stops her in her tracks. At that point, they give the white Sachiko her tongue and the black cat plushie, and that's when she breaks down in tears. And of course, that's when both her and the red Sachiko fade away. And then the school starts rumbling. All three of them manage to escape after Naomi broke free of her darkening, just like she does in the main storyline. And when they get to the entranceway, in terms of between the main wing and the second wing, Naomi pulls out a paper scrap that she had found, but Satoshi tells her you shouldn't use that. So thus, in a bit of a heroic sacrifice, he gives her his paper scrap so that she can escape. But of course she's like, how are you going to get out of here? Then he pulls out a paper scrap that he found as well. He says it's Yuka's, that he took after, I think either before or after she died. So thus, they perform the reverse Sachiko charm, right then and there. They manage to get out. Unfortunately, something happens. Guess.
I'm going... Well, Naomi's not here right now, so I'm gonna say...
No, I was talking about in Tortured Souls. Think about it. He asked Yuki directly what would happen if one used a paper scrap from outside their own group. That's why he gave Naomi his paper scrap and used what he claims was Yuka's. Basically, when they finally warp out of Heavenly Host, something gets left behind where they were once standing. Guess what it was?
What?
Kizami's student ID. The same ID he had found earlier in the OVA, which had his paper scrap in it.
Yikes.
So Naomi and Ayumi do make it back to their homeroom. Satoshi, however, not so much. They're each gripping in their arms. Well, his arms. What's left of them, that is. And you can just imagine the look of terror on their faces as a result.
Well, that's a very happy thought.
Well, the point was that Satoshi knew that if Naomi had tried to use that paper scrap she had found, she would have died. So thus he gave up his life for her. And sadly, that ends up... The ending of Tortured Souls more or less becomes a sequel hook to Book of Shadows. Because in the opening of Book of Shadows, we see Naomi pretty much standing in her room with a 1,000-yard stare, muttering to herself over and over, while her mother is talking to a therapist on the phone. Yeah, she was quite literally broken at that point. So thus, in this ending, we have to escape without Naomi. But yeah, to go from that heartwarming moment in Tortured Souls for when they appease Sachiko and she breaks down in tears in remorse, to Satoshi's heroic sacrifice. Trust me, I did not expect that ending at all.
Mortal Kombat!
Okay, let's just, I'm just gonna go through the trapdoor again. Whoop. Anyway, what's this? An ID name tag right here. Tomoyuki Hamada. Actually, that's one of the composers actually from Team Gris Gris.
Huh.
Who actually worked on Evil Zone on the PlayStation 1.
Oh god, Evil Zone?
Yes! I love that game! It was cheesy and yet so anime, and yet it was so awesome! You actually heard of that game?
Yes, from Retsu Prey.
Wow. But even so, I really like that game.
Especially considering that Paul Eiding also voiced in that game. Which, oddly, he actually commented on that video.
Wow. Anyway, but yeah.
So, same routine as usual.
Fortunately, I get out here within 5 tolls, since I know that not to go down that way.
Oh, okay. Why is it when I think of bell tolling, I keep thinking of Shadow Hearts 2 and Kato's speech at the climax of the game?
I don't know. Then again, we are at the climax of this story. Albeit differently.
Yeah, concerned. We kind of left someone behind.
Well, then again, she was already gone because she got corrupted by the darkening again.
And now we get to see the result of that, I bet.
Yep. Uh-oh.
Is it just me, or do I see something in the distance?
Naomi.
Yeah. She's kind of reddish. Oh god. Is she doing Trans Am?
I don't know.
She's turning red.
Oh crap! Uh-oh. You can see what's coming, can't ya?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Yoshikazu. He's got a pair of scissors. And now it's Yuka's turn to do a heroic sacrifice. She literally took the scissors for him.
Yuka,
and he goes off running.
And
so yeah, Satoshi he just lost not only Naomi but Yuka as well. And thus he witnesses her last moments. She's just barely clinging to life, but she's definitely dying.
Yuka, 気がついたか?
She was right. He wasn't too bright.
Yeah, you fell for that old trick.
And look what it cost you.
Considering the fact that you knew that she was on the same part of the building that you were at. You should realize that. Well, that's comforting, but you're lying.
If she died, he'd be all alone. Even in her last moments, she's still trying to be, trying to reassure him.
Yuka.
lying?
ゆか、嘘ついてた。
Lying about what?
嘘。
ゆか、クラスに好きな子がい
Oh.
るって。
I think I see where this is going.
Yeah.
But then again, well, what do you expect?
ゆかの好きな人は他にいるの。
Well, what do you expect? She loves him that much.
お兄ちゃんしか言えないの。ゆか、ナオミお姉ちゃんよりもっとお姉ちゃんのこと。
In fact, she had kept a secret for that long.
ゆか、お前。
なのにお家でもいつもナオミお姉ちゃんのことばかり。ゆかの気持ち知らないで。
何言ってんだよ。俺だってお前のことは好きだよ。
Sadly, Satoshi, she didn't mean it like that.
違う、そんなんじゃ。兄弟だからとかじゃないよ。本当にゆか。 ゆかちゃん。
Yuka!
I think she's given up the ghost.
Not yet. She still has a little bit of life in her. Just enough to ask him for one last request.
お兄ちゃん。サトシ。お兄ちゃん。
どうした？何が言いたい？
嘘でもいいからゆかのこと。
Whether it's a lie or not, all she wants is for him to reciprocate. So who am I to deny her last request?
大好きだよ。大好きだよ、ゆか。
お兄ちゃん。
So yeah, much like in Tortured Souls, she more or less dies in his arms.
ゆっくりと目を閉じたゆかはそのまま再び目を開けることはなかった。眠るように冷たくなっていったゆかの体はまるで小さな子供のように丸くなり、母親に抱かれているような安心しきった表情をしていた。いなくなって初めて気づいた。
That you lost everything.
And that both Yuka and Naomi meant a lot to
自
you.
分の中で
And that, sadly, they're both gone. And considering the effect of us getting back, that means Yuka never existed in this ending.
夜の9時を回っていた。
And Satoshi is unaware of this
家の
yet.
前に立った俺はしばらく
Because once he gets back into that house, they're just gonna
ゆかのことを
address him as if she never
家族
existed.
にどう伝えよう。
They'll just think that you've been gone for a long time.
濡れなかった？ちょっと遅すぎるよ。
男子たるもの、一度外に出ればいろんなことがあるよな。
女性だって
If only you
いろいろあ
knew.
ります。 バカにしないでください。
おう。
父さん、母さん、
もう濡れてるじゃない。ほら、ちゃんと拭きなさい。
To say nothing of what else may have been on his
着替えたら
uniform
ご
while
飯
he
だ
was
よ。
in there.
すぐ降りてきなさい。
You don't notice the blood?
Well, maybe I don't know.
Maybe it retconned itself when he went back.
ユカのことを全く気にかけない両親に驚き、話すきっかけを見つけられなかった俺は、あいつが死んでしまったことを
And chances are, when he came back to school the next day, that's when he would hear about everyone
しか
else,
しこのまま黙ってい
or
る
at
わ
least
けにも
not hear about everyone else in this case.
ベッドに倒れ込んでこれからのことを考えていると、机の上にリボンのついた小さな箱が置いてあることに気がつ
A
いた。
tiny box, huh? Wait. To my dear big brother?
Wait a minute.
雨の中、俺を
Shouldn't
迎え
that
に出
been
る前に
blurted out?
Or just blank?
置いてったのか。
Something screwy here. Another dex card. Psst, no prize for you. Too bad. But you know what today is, right? It's a big anniversary for the two of us. Yeah, I had something very special to give you later. After you get home, that is. Huh? What's that noise?
ユカの部屋と
なんだよ
俺の部屋は扉一枚でつながっていて、あいつの部屋に行くには
Huh.
この部屋を
That's
通らな
actually
け
kind
れ
of
ば
a
入れ
weird
ない。
way for their house to be like that.
その
Yeah. I know that Japanese are much more open with their,
物音がす
you know,
る。
rights of privacy.
And yet, inside that room, he hears something rustling. A room that should, by all means, be empty.
鍵穴から向こうを
Somehow.
覗いてみる。すると
Until he realized it wasn't quite empty.
向こうからもこっちを覗いていた。
お兄ちゃん、寂しいよ。
I'm just as confused as you are about this ending. Yeah, that's how the alternate ending ends.
What?
I have no words either.
I suppose... My only guess is the fact that they... Like, when he jumped over, he grabbed her body and... left it?
I don't know.
Well, she's saying something there, and some of her stuff is still there. She died in the real world. Albeit, it seems like the effect of Heavenly Host is still in effect.
Who can
What?
Who could say?
Because they don't show us the room.
And all we see, or at least are told, is that he sees an eye through the keyhole.
So,
Which is why I'm glad this ending is not canon.
because it makes no fucking sense.
No, it doesn't. But even so, it was just as depressing. If a bit confusing.
No kidding.
For those of you wondering, we still have more to give you, folks, before we move on to the next game. Namely, how would you like a couple of wrong ends? Yeah. Two particular wrong ends from Chapter 5 that I figured deserved our attention.
I wish I had more beer.
I wish I had some so I could actually drink, but alas, I'm sober.
Unless you're a pussy.
What? I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
Okay.
You'll find out in post and you'll be like, you bastard.
I couldn't even understand you.
Okay, so somehow some part of her made it out,
I don't understand it either, dude.
and now she's haunting her room, yet her parents don't even fucking think she's there.
Well, then again, it's non-canon, so let's just disregard it. Let's never speak of this ending again.
Yeah, let's not. Let's just put in the plot hole that belongs to.
Yep. See you guys in part 27 for one of the two wrong ends I wanted to put particular focus on. See you then.
What were we watching again?